Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the My Guess at This Time podcast. And now your host, Mike Jones Billadoo.
Hello everybody, it is Monday, February 2nd, 2019. And got a lot to talk about this week, and we're going to start just with a personal note. Today is, Saturday, February 2nd was the one-year anniversary of my gastric bypass surgery. About a year ago this time, I was weighing in at about 334 pounds was my highest. And, now I'm down to about 220, 222. It's been a long journey. It's definitely a life-changing surgery. You start going in thinking that, you have no answers to weight loss. Like you'll lose and lose and lose, and then you'll gain it all right back because it's hard to maintain. It's hard to sustain a diet and healthy living. It's hard to do it. A lot of people think the gastric bypass surgery is the easy way out. And let me tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy one bit. Qualifying for the surgery, going to all the appointments for the surgery, going through the surgery itself and the recovery, and the change of lifestyle after the fact. Nothing about this surgery has been easy. The weight came off quicker, came off a little easier than it would have if I didn't have the surgery. But now it's going to be a challenge on me to maintain it. So I'm still losing slowly. I want to keep that momentum up. And, it's been a year, a life-changing year for me. And getting healthy, it wasn't even about getting thin for me. It was just getting healthy for me. Starting a better lifestyle for myself on the right foot. Congratulations to moi. A lot of people asked me before I had the surgery why I thought I needed it. It's hard to explain that in words. I mean, for people that are big, it's a little easier. For people that are skinny already, it's harder for them to understand. They think that we can do it by ourselves, and we can, but it would take years of exercise, years of eating better, years that people might not have. Like big people, they're at risk for all kinds of diseases and heart attacks and strokes and other kind of illnesses. Not to say I was at risk for those, but just to understand where people are coming from. And I think a lot of why I did this surgery as well is because of my husband, Jimmy. He kind of inspired me to turn things around in my life, to become healthier, stop eating crap all the time. Just seeing all that he's gone through in life. If you know us personally, you know Jimmy's story. I'm not going to throw it out there for the world to hear. But yeah, Jimmy wasn't exactly in my corner at first when I wanted to do this surgery. He was, not that he wasn't in my corner, he was just nervous about what the surgery could have done to me. You hear all the horror stories about gastric bypass, the people that have complications, the people that die from it. But there's also, for all the people that have had bad experiences, there's 10 times more people that have had good experiences. And I hope that I can inspire other people to, if they want to do the surgery, they should look into it. Not saying I'm a gastric bypass hero here. I just, it's changed my life for the better. I have to maintain it myself. I have to challenge myself to do better every day, pretty much. I mean, yeah, I slip here and there. I have stuff I shouldn't eat, but it's not on a regular basis. It's in moderation. It could be done. It could be done safely and effectively. And if you're scared, there's support groups out there. You should take a look into it. So I'm going to get off my soapbox on gastric bypass, and we're going to get into other things here. So wrestling this weekend, February 9th, 2 big shows, one in Whitesboro for New York Championship Wrestling, Under Pressure, The Stepdads are going to defend their New York Championship Wrestling Tag Team titles against The Street. We know Killer Instinct is going to be there, taking on Team Espanza. We know there's going to be a 6-man with Scotty Arrow, Dante Dio, The Great Nuka, Kid Curry, a member of the Savage Wolves, and I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the last guy. That'll be an interesting match. We know there's going to be a Riley Shepard is going to defend her New York Championship Wrestling women's title against PJ the Whip Gonzalez. PJ is a good friend of the show. She's been on the show before. She's a great talent. Riley Shepard as well is a good talent. We hope that her their injury from the last show has resolved itself. We hope she's in good health and that she continues to carry the banner for the women's division in New York Championship Wrestling. It'll be an interesting match with PJ the Whip. She's a strange character. I'm not going to lie. But she is also a very talented wrestler. So it'll be a very good match to see. Down in Amsterdam, Immortal Championship Wrestling returns for their second show. They're going to crown their first Immortal Heavyweight Champion. We know that there's going to be a gauntlet match that'll come out of some singles qualifying matches on the same night. We know Tyler Vincent, Brute Van Slyke, and others are going to be involved in those matches. So we'll hear more about that in the days to come. We're going to be down in Amsterdam for Immortal Championship Wrestling's show. We think it's going to be a big night. They're going to crown their first world or heavyweight champion, I should say. Which brings me now, ladies and gentlemen, to a new segment on the show where we're going to recap Raw and SmackDown from the week before as we prepare for Monday Night Raw tonight. So Monday Night Raw, last Monday, the big segment on the show, Becky Lynch challenging Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. Kind of knew this was coming. I kind of thought we might see Charlotte in the mix to make it a triple threat match. But it looks like they're going to keep it just Becky and Ronda, which I think is going to be even bigger. I think Charlotte needs to go after Asuka. I think there needs to be Charlotte versus Asuka 2 at WrestleMania. We'll see how that pans out. Seth Rollins was forced to make his choice on Monday Night Raw. He didn't get to because Brock Lesnar attacked him. So I'm assuming we're going to get Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. On the flip side of things, on SmackDown, we saw Daniel Bryan debut a new title belt. Very green, very non-leather, non-animal product, which goes with his character. He's got that evil environmentalist agenda character going on right now, which is good. It's going good. I think he's doing really good right now. He's coming into his own as a heel, and he's a great champion. And I don't know exactly where we're headed with Daniel Bryan into WrestleMania, but hopefully we'll get some more answers this week on who he might face at WrestleMania this year. I'm hoping to see him and Finn Balor. I think that'd be an awesome match. Him and AJ Styles really deserve another match, but honestly, the last match at the Royal Rumble between the two of them left a lot to be desired, especially coming from those two. So, we'll see exactly what's in the works for Daniel Bryan going into WrestleMania. I think he really deserves to be the champion going into WrestleMania. He really deserves a title defense at WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens there. Also, there's talk about Braun Strowman taking on McIntyre and Corbin with a tag team partner at WrestleMania. I hope they have bigger plans for Drew McIntyre going into WrestleMania than this quite boring angle with Strowman and Corbin. It needs to end. It needs to end tonight on Raw. Just put it to bed. Drew McIntyre needs a big program going into WrestleMania to get his character to where he needs to be. He should be in the main event. I would personally love to see Drew McIntyre against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. God knows if Roman's going to be back in time, but I think that would be a big match for Drew McIntyre, especially if he were to pick up a victory over Roman at WrestleMania. John Cena, thinking he's going to be back in time for WrestleMania to go over, to put somebody else over like he normally does. He comes back and takes a big loss to one of the younger stars. I think that's what his character is now. That's his responsibility, is to get the younger talent over, since he's pretty much, semi-retired anyway. One other thing with WrestleMania, we don't know what they have in store for The Undertaker. I'm assuming he's going to go into the Hall of Fame this year. I could be wrong. And his opponent right now is a mystery. Tonight on Monday Night Raw, Kurt Angle is going to address his future in the WWE. I'm assuming this is going to set up his last WrestleMania match. I assume somebody's going to come down and attack him or challenge him for WrestleMania. It would be good for a younger talent to get over, to defeat Kurt at WrestleMania. So they really need to build up their undercard and their mid-card talent right now, especially on Monday Night Raw. Over on the SmackDown side of things, R-Truth took the United States title, defeating Shinsuke Nakamura. And at the end, Rusev and Shinsuke teamed up to attack R-Truth. Not sure why these sudden heel turns are so prevalent right now on WWE. Characters keep on changing too quickly without much reason. Hopefully this will come to an end with the fresh start that the McMahons are promising. So tonight on Raw, it's going to be interesting. We know Stephanie McMahon has invited Becky Lynch to Raw. We don't know what they're going to discuss. I'm assuming Stephanie might be trying to get Becky full-time on Monday Night Raw. Maybe generate a trade with SmackDown. We'll see what happens there. So now we're going to move on to the next new segment of the show. We're going to discuss comic books that came out last week, one of them being Buffy the Vampire Slayer #1. So the new Buffy the Vampire Slayer has relaunched under Boom Studios. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a TV show, followed up a movie, it ran for 7 seasons and then it ended, and a lot of fans were upset about it. So they continued on the story in comic book form, and they started with Dark Horse Comics, and they produced season 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So the series lived on for 5 more seasons, if you want to call it a season in a comic book. A lot of things happened during those 5 seasons. Buffy had a lesbian affair with another Slayer. Angel became the evil Twilight. Him and Buffy had sex, created a new world, a world that was considered a paradise. They would have to leave their friends and family behind to live there as gods. And they decided to not stay in that world, and they went back and saved their friends from sure death. So Buffy and Angel have had this tortured love for each other for all these years, and they finally had their peace, and they chose to give it up for their friends and family. So, a lot happened there. The government cracked down on supernatural beings and started putting them in concentration camps, and where if it comes to find that they were sucking their power to try to eliminate certain tribes of people. So, a lot happened in that series, and it ended with the 4-part season 12 with Dark Horse Comics, where the prophecy